Loyalty is not a financial strategy. It is a feeling, a genuinely valuable one that the modern labor market has learned to accept without paying for. The company you are loyal to is not loyal back in any financial sense that shows up in your account. It is loyal to its own payroll economics, which means it gives you just enough annually to keep you from leaving, while paying new hires for your same role more than it has paid you in years. So here is the question this video is going to answer. Why is staying too long your biggest career mistake? Not because loyalty is wrong. Not because every job should be a 2-year stop. Because the financial cost of staying past the point where the market has moved on without you is specific, calculable, and compounding every month it continues. Stay with this one. Because the second mistake, the one about why staying felt like the right decision even when the math said otherwise, is the one that makes the first one inevitable. Meet Jason and Carmen. Same city, same role, same starting salary 8 years ago. Very different financial lives today. 2 mistakes, both correctable, neither random. The first mistake. Staying produces the illusion of income growth while the market moves without you. Jason is 41, senior operations analyst at a healthcare company in Nashville, Tennessee. He started there at 29. Same company for over 8 years. He has been a good employee. His reviews are strong. His raises have been consistent, approximately 3.5% annually, which felt reasonable every year he received it. His current salary, $84,000. Take home in Tennessee, no state income tax, approximately $5,350 a month. Carmen is also 41, same city. She started her career in the same type of role at the same salary, $68,000. Carmen has made 2 strategic moves in 8 years. Not impulsive, not disloyal, strategic. She left the first employer after 4 years when a competing offer came in $14,000 above her current salary. She left the second after 3 years when a director-level opportunity arrived that her existing employer had no path to offer her. Her current salary, $112,000. Take home, approximately $6,975 a month. Same starting salary, same city, same 8 years. Jason earns $84,000. Carmen earns $112,000. The difference? $28,000 a year. That $28,000 annual gap, invested at 7% over the next 10 years, compounds to approximately $387,000. Not from investing differently, not from spending differently, from one decision made repeatedly, whether to let the market set your salary or let your employer set it. Here is why that gap exists. Internal salary increases are governed by payroll budgets, typically 3% to 5% annually, regardless of what the market is doing. External hiring is governed by market rates, what it takes to attract talent from outside, which rises significantly faster when specific skills are in demand. According to ADP research, employees who change jobs earn on average 5% to 7% more in the year of the switch compared to those who stay. Compounded across 2 strategic moves over 8 years, Carmen's income trajectory diverged from Jason's not through luck, but through arithmetic. Now make this specific to you. How long have you been at your current employer? And when did you last check what the external market pays for someone with your exact background in your city at your level? Not what your employer tells you you are worth, what the market, the competitive, offer-making, talent recruiting market, would actually pay. Because the gap between those 2 numbers, if you have been in the same role or same company for more than 3 to 4 years, is almost certainly larger than your last raise. And every month that gap exists without being addressed is a month it compounds. The first mistake, salary compression. Internal raises track payroll budgets. External moves track market rates. Over 8 years, Jason and Carmen started at the same salary. The market paid one of them $28,000 more per year. That is not luck. That is compounding arithmetic. The second mistake. Loyalty became unwrapped, and identity is harder to update than a resume. Jason knows the gap exists. He has seen the job postings. He has done the math. He knows that Carmen's trajectory and his own diverged somewhere around year 4. And yet he is still there. Not because the math changed, because something else is operating underneath the financial calculation that the math alone cannot address. Here is what happened to Jason somewhere around year 3 or 4. He stopped being someone who worked at this company. He became someone who was this company. His professional relationships were all internal. His expertise was calibrated to this organization's specific systems and culture. His sense of professional identity, the answer to the question, "What do you do?" was inseparable from where he did it. And at that point, the decision to leave stopped being a financial calculation. It became an identity question. Leaving meant walking away from relationships he had built over years. It meant starting over in a culture he did not know. It meant admitting to himself and to people he respected that the place he had committed to was not where he was going to spend his career. That is not a spreadsheet decision. That is an identity decision. And identity decisions are almost always resolved in favor of the existing identity, even when the financial case for change is overwhelming. This is the second mistake, and it is more expensive than the first one. Because the first mistake costs Jason money every year. The second mistake is why the first mistake keeps happening year after year, and why the exit that would have been straightforward at year 3 becomes genuinely difficult at year 8. Here is what has happened to Jason's market value in 8 years of deep specialization in a single organization. His skills are excellent for this company. The systems he knows are proprietary. The relationships he has built are internal. The expertise he has developed is calibrated to one organization's way of operating. As we covered in Why Your Job Title is Making You Broke, the professional who builds transferable skills across multiple environments is worth significantly more to the external market than the professional who has optimized for one employer. 8 years is long enough to become excellent. It is also long enough to become narrow. Now ask yourself the question Jason has been avoiding. How much of your current expertise is specific to your current employer? And how much is genuinely portable to any organization in your field? And when did you last test that? Not in theory, in an actual conversation with the external market, an interview, a recruiter call, a real offer that required the market to put a number on what you are worth outside these walls. Because if the answer is years, the identity has been setting the price longer than the market has. And the market, when you finally ask it, almost always has a different answer than the one your employer has been giving you. The identity shift this video is asking for is not disloyal. It is strategic. Stop measuring your career in years of tenure at one address. Start measuring it in the value the external market assigns to what you can do, and whether that value is growing or narrowing with every year you stay. Loyalty is worth something in life. In your career finances, it is worth exactly what your employer is willing to pay for it. Look up what that number is. Then look up what the market would pay. The gap between those two numbers is the cost of loyalty that was never priced correctly. Every video on this channel starts with why. Why your job title is making you broke. Why job security is the biggest financial illusion. Why working harder is making you poorer. Every assumption you were handed about what a good career looks like financially, questioned. If this video made you open a job board tonight, not to quit, But to look, that is exactly where it was supposed to land. Remember this: loyalty is not a career strategy. It is a feeling your employer accepts without pricing. Know what the market pays for what you do. Compare it to what you earn. The gap is the cost of staying too long.